Right now we're on the eastern shoreline of Lake Andrusia, coming up to the coastline, looking for the shallow waters that the walleye like to hang out at this time of the year. One of the pieces of equipment that we'll be using to find out the depth is the depth finder. And the Hurc will tell us all about the depth finder.
Right now you can see we're coming into shallower water. We're at 20 feet right now, slowly moving up, closer and closer to the big one. And yet some of the other paraphernalia will be this back motor here. This is the most important trolling motor.
Does that run off of gas or electric?
That's off of a battery. That enables us to come in and sneak in quietly on the fish. And if we don't get this thing back up, we're going to be in 2 feet of water pretty soon.
So you have that running right now, huh?
Right now it's running.
Well, you can hardly hear it.
Here's the special rods and reels we're going to be using. These will be the basic Shimano rod and reel, made in Japan, of course. And of course the bait. Let me show you what the bait will be. We're going to be fishing with leeches this afternoon. That's a good look at them. That's the good old leech right there.
Oh, those are nice. Do they actually stick to your skin and suck your blood dry like people say they do?
Oh yeah, if you don't, you got to know how to handle them carefully.
I mean, boy, those are really nice looking.
You can just suck you just dry.
Well, fishing with the pros, we certainly know that this is the correct bait if the Hurc has chosen it. Right now he's hooking onto the leech. Can you explain where to hook onto that leech?
Yeah, once he gets a hold of you and he starts sucking the blood out of you, just kind of grab him and get him right behind the sucker, right like that. Come through the backside just once.
Hold him up. Let's see what he looks like there.
Alrighty. Let's see if we can get this thing all untangled.
Okay, you're all set here. Maybe you can explain the type of jig you have set up on the...
What they call a Lindy rig. You have a swivel hook and then a slip sinker up on the top.
So you actually have quite a bit of leader below that.
Oh yeah, about 36 inches.
Where's the leech? Oh, there's the leech. I can see why the fish would like that. Okay, and then what do we do here?
Well, I'll tell you what, Ken. Off here.
A little windy today on Lake Andrusia, but fishing with the pros, we don't have a problem. And now let's have a word from our sponsor. Today's Fishing with the Pros is brought to you by Light Beer. Less filling, tastes great. And also by Mazola, the oil of the fishes. The Hurc will explain in a minute about the walleye and how they have latched on to this Mazola smell. And we'll explain later on in the show of how that Mazola oil really attracts those big ones. And now back to the Hurc. How's the fish in here, Hurc? Back to the Hurc, and here we are still casting for the elusive walleye. Maybe we'll ask the Hurc a few of his techniques. I notice he's got that index finger sitting right on that reel, holding the line up real tight. Or is it tight? What is the key to that?
Well, what we're trying to do here is first get us in the right direction. Trying to fight this wind here. Trying to do is get her out the back of the boat. We're in too shallow water here.
Good thing for that depth finder. Why are we holding the line like that?
Well, we're trying to get it to stay on top of the weed bed because we're in a little shallow water here.
So in other words, that that weight is holding her down in the water and just kind of going right across the top of the weed bed, huh?
Right now it is, yeah. Once I get this pole tip down, we'll start going into the shallower, or start going on the bottom. And then, that's where the walleyes hang out.
On the bottom?
Right on the bottom.
About how deep?
About 15 feet of water right now.
How do you know if you get a hit?
Well, you feel this little tap on your pole.
On the line here, huh? Is that why you have your index finger on the line?
That's right, and once you feel that, you just let go.
All right. Well, Hurc, let's go to a word from our sponsor.
Shoot. Just had a nice bite on that one, folks.
No dice today, though, huh? Well, I think that calls for a Miller. What do you think? Nothing like a good old Miller Lite on a hard day fishing trip. Do you have any at hand there?
As a matter of fact, I do have one right here.
Well, let's pop that baby open. Definitely one of the most important items that you can take along on any type of fishing trip. Miller Lite.
There's a fish here.
Miller Lite tastes better, less filling. Well, I think the Hurc is so engrossed in fishing that his Miller Lite still remains there on the floor. You can see it right there. But you know for sure he'll be back to that baby at any minute. Now let's go back to the fishing with the pros, with Tom the Hurc Hurcus. He feels a nibble. Sets the hook. Does he have anything?
Negative.
Nothing at this time. Well, it's certainly a patience sport. And if anybody has the patience, it's the Hurc.
I know we're going to get a fish here.
Think that was about a 7-8 pounder or what?
Oh, at least.
Well, Hurc, how many years have you been fishing here on Lake Andrusia?
Well, this is probably my 8th or 9th year.
8th or 9th year, huh? What, do you bring the family up or what?
Oh yeah, the family comes up with us every year. We have a great time. We fish, we ski.
Sounds interesting. Well, you certainly are a pro at this fishing, even though things are slow today. I'm sure there must be a tip or two that you could tell the common, everyday, ordinary fisherman.
Well, as a matter of fact, there is. When you fish in the middle of, right now it's a little after 3 o'clock. It's very, very hard to catch walleyes this time, but with my proven techniques, there's a few things you can do to really increase your chances. And let me show you what one of those are. Bring my little leech in here. I suppose a lot of you people are wondering why Mazzola here is our sponsor. And that's because there's a few household products that you can use to really increase your chances of catching a fish. Let me show you what one of those are. I've found through the years of fishing that a little bit of Mazzola oil on the leech really makes for good fishing. Just kind of dip them in there like that, way down in there, and you bring them out, and I don't know, the fish really like it. It tastes real good. That tastes so good, I'm going to have a little sip myself. Yeah, a little Mazzola oil on the leech. Whoops, and we get her back out there. That's the tip for the day. We'll see you at the next commercial break. Keeps you regular too. Well, we've been fishing here now for just a couple of minutes with the Mazzola oil. It should be working. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got a big one now.
How many pounds? How many pounds?
Oh, no, it's heavy. I've never seen a fish fight like this before.
Bring it in, bring it in.
I can hardly get him in. Look at how they...
Holy cow.
I've never had a fish fight like
Come on, baby.
It's getting them caught in the motor. I can work him around. Get the net, get the net.
Bring that thing in.
Holy mackerel, it's a fillet of sole.
Fillet of sole?
Yeah, check this out. We got one. Oh,
Holy
oh,
cow.
what a fish.
What is that?
It's a sole fish, I think.
I never knew those existed in Lake Andrusia.
Oh, did he swallow the hook? No, I just lipped him.
Well, I'll tell you, folks.
Look at him, he's still flopping around.
I'll tell you, folks. Fishing with the pros with the Hurc, if anybody's going to catch a rare fish or a species never heard of before in Lake Andrusia,
I didn't lose my leech.
he's still got his leech too. Oh, is that good? Folks, signing off at Lake Andrusia with Fishing with the Hurc.
See you later, everybody.
The beautiful Lake Andrusia for part 2 of Fishing with the Hurc.
Let's go!
Today we're going out fishing for panfish. Will be brought to you by Pep Blue Ribbon. Welcome, folks, to Fishing with the Hurc, back to beautiful Lake Andrusia in northern Minnesota. If you recall, last episode we talked about the paraphernalia that's used on a fishing boat. This time we're going to go to the Hurc, and he's going to teach us a few things about what you should have in every tackle box. Hurc, take her away.
Thank you, John. Yes, last week we talked about the boat and the trolling motor and the depth finder, and this week I thought we'd give you people a little insight as to what kind of things you should have in your tackle box. So let's take a look here. This is just your ordinary basic tackle box, but it's pretty complete with most everything you need. You got a couple of artificial lures, spinners, got some Rapalas here, we got a couple of jigs. I like to keep my tackle box organized because, you know, you got to have everything in its place, and I keep some extra line, so I always want to have fresh line, which we'll probably be changing it today. Let's take a look, see if we got any down here. I like to keep everything organized here. Oops. Yeah, here's some. Well, enough about this tackle box. Everything's so organized, I just hate to put anything out of place. So let's take a commercial break and we'll come back for some real good fishing.
Sounds good, Hurc.
All right.
Remember, a good fisherman always takes Pabst Blue Ribbon with him. Pabst Blue Ribbon, Milwaukee's finest. Welcome back to Fishing with the Hurc. Remember, today on beautiful Lake Andrusia, we're going after the panfish. Today we're going to ask Hurc, what kind of hooks do you use for those panfish?
Well, today we're going to be using some Eagle Claw snelled fish hooks, probably the number 6 size or maybe even the number 8 size, we don't know. Sometimes you don't want those fish to swallow the hook, so you got to use the proper hooks so they don't swallow it and you don't have to mess around pulling their guts out and stuff like that.
How big a panfish you been getting here?
Oh, the perch will probably run 3-4 pounds and the bluegills maybe 2 to 3 pounds, but you'll occasionally get a 5-pounder out of here.
Yeah, I heard you had about 10 5-pounders the other day.
Yeah, it was a good day. The moon was right, and we got into them pretty good. But one thing I got to stress about these hooks, you must have them razor sharp. I take these, I buy them from the factory, and then I specially hand sharpen each one. So, I mean, like you take this...
Are they dangerous?
Oh, no, not at all. You can handle these real well. You take this Rapala like this. Now, I'll hand sharpen each one of those little treble hooks, so they're so... I mean, even looking at them, sometimes it makes you get stuck to them, but you got to be careful and just know how to handle them. Oh, gee.
Oh, you okay?
Oh, God. Give me a rat.
Here.
Oh, God.
Roy, should we stop filming here for a minute or what?
Oh, it might be all right. It's bleeding pretty good, though.
It's bleeding?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you don't see anything bleeding?
Oh, it's bleeding pretty good now.
Oh, you're right.
Well, I think we'll be all right, though. Don't worry about it at all. It'll be okay. If I just get it to stop bleeding a little bit, we'll be all right.
Well, we better go to a commercial break, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go to a commercial break quick. We don't want to see any more of this. Hurc, we'll be right back.
That'd be a good idea.
Okay. Back to Pabst Blue Ribbon. Remember, the beer that made in... Here we are back again at beautiful Lake Andrusia. Fishing with the Hurc, brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon. And now let's go back to the Hurc. Hurc, we're going after the big panfish today. What type of bait are you going to use for these panfish?
Well, I believe today we're going to be using some leeches. I don't know. I think that's the best bait I think I've found up here. Sorry about that little inconvenience before that last commercial. I had a little accident. I guess it was the nerves of being on camera and everything. I normally don't do anything like that.
Well, we'll be seen by millions every Sunday morning at 9 a.m.
Okay. Yeah, these little leeches are, they're beauties.
Let's see those babies there.
Oh, can you get a good look at them? They just kind of, sometimes they just kind of curl up in a little ball like that.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
They're beauties.
Those are nice.
Got some great suckers on these things.
Gives
you a great hickey.
Leeches do, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you southern boys know all about those things.
If you can't find your gal on the weekend, nothing better than to snuggling up to a nice little leech, that's for sure. So they taste great for those panfish. They just
I can't imagine why those panfish like them so much.
Are you kidding me? These leeches? These leeches are so good. Man, you just take one at any time and just pop them in your mouth. They're great.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe you eat those.
Well, you get by the aftertaste. They're not too bad. You know, just.
Oh, I'll be darned. Oh, you do? You are eating them. I'll be darned.
They're delicious.
Well, I'll have to try that sometime.
You betcha.
Does your wife eat those?
Oh, occasionally. Puts a little butter and sautés them a little bit. They're great.
Yeah, I bet that's good.
Hey,
well,
what do you say we go catch some fish?
That's a good idea. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll come back for the big one.
Let's go get them.
Once again, brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon, Dave Fallis' favorite beer. And here we are back at Lake Andrusia again. We're going after some of these 5-pound sunfish that the Hurc claims live in Lake Andrusia, and only the Hurc can catch these. Hurc, what type of setup are we going to be using today to go after these 5-pound sunfish?
Well, it's basically, you know, your basic fishing that everybody across all of America does. You know, you just got your hook, your weights, and your bobber and your leech. I mean, sometimes you need a little special arrangement, which is what I got here, because when you go after panfish the size that I go after, you got to have the proper equipment. Here's my little bobber, because anything smaller than that, they'll just pull that under and bury it into the mud on the bottom. So
I see.
And then, of course, you got to have a little weight in case you're on a windy day. You got to get those leeches down where the fish are.
Well, you have a lot of weight on there, don't you?
Well, yeah, maybe a pound or two, whatever you might need. And then, of course, I have my own special hook. I hate when those damn little critters swallow it, so I get myself a hook that I know they won't swallow this baby.
That's a pretty big one there.
Yeah.
Why don't you lay that on the palm so our viewers can see what that looks like there?
About that big.
Let me zoom in on that one. Boy, that is a big hook.
Yeah, and then you just get your leech, and you just hook them right in there. Whoops. Sometimes they don't like this big hook, but it's more than just like getting a blood test, you know what I mean? But they go on.
Wow, that leech is almost lost on that hook.
Yeah, and then we go catch some fish.
Hold that setup up in the air one more time there. Let me see what you got. Boy, that's just a picture of beauty.
There it is.
Well, let's go after a couple of those big ones, huh?
Okay.
We're going to go for a quick commercial break, and we hope by the time we're back you'll have a big one. Thanks to Pabst Blue Ribbon, we're able to bring you Fishing with the Hurc. And here we are back with the Hurc, still fishing for those panfish. Hurc, any luck at all?
Well, we've been getting a few bites. Wait a minute. Oh, I think we got a bite here. Here we go. Get ready.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Think it's a big one?
Yeah, it's a good one. Here it is. Oh!
Holy cow.
He's fighting.
Boy, look at him fight. Get him out from underneath the boat.
I don't know if I can.
Don't let him out.
Get the net.
Got the net?
You always got to have the biggest net.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this is the big one.
I don't blame you for a net.
I don't know.
I hope you could bring him in all right.
Get him in here.
Where's he at?
Oh, no.
What'd you do? You lost him?
That guy got away.
Oh, darn it. Well, let's try it again here.
We'll get another one. You can almost see him.
When fishing in Lake Andrusia, remember, Pabst Blue Ribbon is your friend. Well, folks, as you notice from the raindrops on the water here, we're having a little bit of rain, and I'll tell you, I think the Hurc will tell you that this is probably some of the best fishing weather you could ever have. What do you think about that statement, Hurc?
Yeah, I'll tell you, sometimes when a front moves through and we get a little shower like this, it triggers the fish into just going crazy. They go in a feeding frenzy.
Well, how you been doing here, Hurc? You have any bites or anything?
Oh, wait a minute now. I got...
Boy, that bobber.
Oh, we got it.
Oh, I think you set the hook good.
Oh, these things fight like crazy.
Man, look at him battle. Look at him battle. Good thing you got those weights on there.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of the muscle out of it.
Man, look at that pole bend.
You better get the net. You can never get a big enough net, that's what I always say.
See if you can get her in. Fight her in. Now, don't lose her this time.
Oh, I'll try. I might have to get this one by hand.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. He's bringing him up. I think he does. All right.
Oh, there he is.
Look at that baby.
Thing.
Hold him up once for the audience.
I haven't had one this big since...
Man, oh man.
probably...
I can see why you have those big hooks, too.
Oh, yeah, you got to have them this big.
Boy, anything smaller, that fish would have just swallowed that whole hook.
Yeah, this is just one of many. Let's throw them in the bait box.
Well, hold them on your palm of your hand. I want folks to see what kind of perch you can catch out here on Lake Andrusia.
Should we show them the rest of them that we've caught?
Well, yeah, let's take a look at them.
All right, here they are. We'll put them in the bait box. These things are going to be...
Oh, man.
I'm probably over my limit. Get down here, buddy.
We're talking some big-time fishing here.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, we could show this broadcast all over the country, and Dave and Joe would have to fight off fishermen coming up here to try to fish for these kind of big ones.
I'll tell you, that's why I don't spread it around that Fin and Feather's a good resort. Matter of fact, I tell a lot of people that it's a hole in the wall that you'd never want to come here.
That's
so
it.
I can keep these panfish all to myself.
Yep, I don't blame you there. Well, Hurc, let's take another commercial break.
All right.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, the beer of the panfish. We'll be back in a minute. Well, folks, here we are back at beautiful Lake Andrusia.
Well, as much as I like to catch fish, there's nothing more satisfying than to release a fish after a long day's fishing. So we're going to take all these jumbos that we caught and we're going to...
Man, look at those things.
Let them...
Hold a couple of those up there. Look at those things.
They're beauties.
How many pounds you'd say those things weigh?
Oh, this is probably one of the bigger ones. This is probably about a 4.5 pounder. But, I mean, unless we get them
Look at the size of that one.
Unless we get them 5 pounds or bigger, I don't keep them.
A lot of those 5-pounders in here, huh?
Yeah, but we didn't get any 5-pounders today. Oh, there's a double.
Twins?
Oh, I almost had a triple.
Boy, you have certainly done a job on these fish today.
And this is the last of them.
How many total?
Oh, we had about 10 fish this time. And, which is about normal for our 20 minutes of fishing that we just did. So, I just want to say thanks again to our sponsors, Pabst Blue Ribbon, one of my favorite beers, for giving me this opportunity to let you folks back at home to see how a true professional fisherman fishes.
Well, that's great, Hurc. And in a minute, coming attractions for our future shows. We'll be right back. Well, folks, it's time to hit it for the day. But before we go, here's a preview of coming attractions. Hurc, what's on the menu for our next show?
Well, next week we're going to go after the elusive muskie, the fish of 10,000 casts. And I'm not only am I going for muskie, I'm going for the muskie. Yes, folks, I've latched into a 60-pounder out here on Lake Andrusia once before, and he's the biggest fish I've ever seen, and I've named him the Colonel, and there's only one thing you can catch the Colonel on, and that's a special natural bait I've developed. and I'm just casting them in, or cast out, and I reel them in.
What is that?
For the kernel, you need an ear of corn.
Oh, I'll be darned.
The king of the kernels, they call him.
Well, folks, only on Fishing with the Hurc do you learn those types of tips. And until next time, away we go for Fishing with the Hurc.
See you next week, folks.